It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme has everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.
Hi there, I am Adam Kibas, and this is my sixth episode of my short story, Wednesday. I was following the road, I was following my new path, I was following gained hope, gained destiny, maybe femdom, maybe heroes. This is the path I was following, and this was the path where this beautiful creature was walking along, was walking somewhere, and it was towing me alongside her. I didn't know where this journey would go. I didn't know that this would change my life in such a way that I would not be able to return to my old life anymore. And I did not want it to return to my old life. I saw my home in the distance. I walked past those lines who kept me all this year, and I followed this creature. She came by a crossroad. The sun gave her appearance, her beautiful body, a gleaming image, a gleaming appearance, like it would be encarved in an image, encarved in my mind. And every move had such subtle seduction. Every move of this beautiful creature had something mesmerizing, something captivating, like she would draw everyone who sees her, who witnesses her, into her world, into her beauty, into this beautiful seduction. I was walking across this beautiful woman, changed my life, turned it upside down, and yet she didn't seem to know about it. She just walked away. And I felt indeed uncomfortable following her, because I did not know what to say to her, still didn't know how I could talk to her, how could I respond to her, what would I say to her if she would just stop, if she would just stare at me, stare questioningly, demanding a response. It was weird though. I felt uncomfortable. I didn't. This is not what I do. Leaving my home, leaving this path, and leaving somewhere I don't know. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan for anything. And yet it just happened, like my body was carrying me across this wall, across the muteness of my mind. And maybe beyond, just following step by step, small steps. With small steps, I would distance myself of my past and of the future I thought for sure, for certain, the future I had built for so long. One step after another, one step after another, I was walking towards something I didn't know, something yet still thrilling, still amazing. I was amazed about myself, like the moment I heard my own voice. Something new was going to happen, something new in my life, a change. Not me. This was not me anymore. This was not the young, stupid me anymore who believed in fairy tales. This was not me anymore who lived in an illusionary world. This was me who was walking the streets, walking somewhere, following this beautiful angel, following this beautiful woman. It was me now. And every tread on the ground felt like I would feel myself for the first time. It would move from my foot to my hair and would spread through every part of my body. I felt every heart throb falling on the ground. I felt my heart almost dropping to the ground and then re-emerging on my chest. I felt every beat of it. Fear intermingled with thrill. And maybe all these years, maybe it left all in a distance. Rosa went into a side street and then she went into a home. These streets were new for me. I've never been here, but she did not care closing the door behind her. She just left the door open, and this is worse than this was another border. Put itself in front of me. This was the moment where I would just stand and watch this new life, this new moment. I would not dare to go farther because I felt uncomfortable as well. I looked back at the path and the road I came so far, and it felt amazing. But Rosa disappeared. I knew now where she was. I knew now that she was living in the vicinity. I knew that in the house she disappeared right before. There she was, the life that was waiting for me, the moment, every time, every moment. All my thoughts, all my ideas had this conclusion. All my thoughts were leading somewhere to this very moment. And my heart throbs were hanging on these walls, beating in synchronicity, beating, deafening, leading me here to this world, to this sweet sound of her voice, this melody, which is still beaming in my ears. This is the path to my salvation. This is the path to my freedom. This is the path how you can climb walls and walk beyond them. This is the path which makes you a human being. This is the path which builds with every thread in front of me, the path to somewhere and yet to nowhere. The path which builds itself anew with every step, like I would build my road to somewhere, but I do not know where, and I do not fear anything. I wasn't afraid of anything. I was afraid of maybe I was afraid of one thing, and this is that I would walk so far, that I would go beyond the imaginable distance myself so far that I would not find back anymore. That I would wake up in the middle of the street, in the middle of nowhere, and just felt a deep urge to go back. I feel this deep distraction, this devastating feeling of conceit, of weakness, of irresolution, this feeling of lost. I feared that I would be struck by this feeling in the middle of nowhere, right at the very moment when I felt this courage to walk beyond the borders, to walk somewhere, to walk maybe out into this world, to walk through a destiny there. How cruel it would be. I feared that if I then would lose faith, courage, how would I fight back again? That I would crave, I feared that I would crave for my home, for my secure walls, because I had walked too far away. I had walked beyond the imaginable. I have imagined myself more than I thought of me. More than this stupid boy I still was. I had no life plans. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do with my life. This was new. I wake up of a slumber. This was not what people usually do. Of course, I imagine someone with a mundane life, with a life that is predictable in every sense, in every moment. But these people, of course, they knew how they should act, what they should do, because their life is like a circle. It always reappears over and over again. They hear these histories of their parents, what they do, and eventually they act the same way. This is how I fought in my arrogance, in my condescending view to all these people. Of course, someone with a mundane life would know what to do, would fight back, would listen to the tales of their parents and ancestors, that they always walk back. This is how they were made of. This is how they survived, because walking back to your secure space, to your comfort space, this is survival. This is the greatest need, the necessity of every generation, just to survive, just to be alive. This is what their ancestors all thought about living, just to survive, just coming to an age, just to go with the seasons, like wood that floats upon the water downstream somewhere, without an helm, without sails, nothing, just float on the surface, and you will eventually arrive somewhere, find a purpose, and be someone. Mundane lives, mundane habits, they live the longest. They are immortal, imprinted in all those walls, imprinted in every corner on these streets. Mundane life circles, built on the edges of every home, even the winds, even the seasons, even Mother Nature has grown accustomed to human circles, to mundane life, to everything that reappears over and over again. Why? Because it is predictable. It is safety. It is inconvenient and maybe ugly, boring, whatever it is, but it is there, and it will be there when you close your eyes for a second, lose yourself in a dream world, and then open your eyes again. It will be still there. Predictability. This is what makes boredom attractive. It will be there. It is always there. It does not leave you. It does not strain from you. It follows the beaten path, and you better follow it too. This is what success is made of. This is what the world made of. And you better follow these paths. You better follow those footprints of your ancestors day by day, through by day. Don't worry. Don't worry how you pass the time. Don't you worry. Time will pass you eventually. This is not about you thinking about how time will pass, how you will manage to do your life. No, this is about survival. If it is about survival, you do not think about the moment where you do not have enough time. You do not feel time as scarcity. Hell no. How would you? You expect how, and you know how your life is going to turn around. You, of course, never expect surprises. Time is not scarce in such a world. Time is plenty, unbearably plenty. It is just another Wednesday, just another Monday, just another Sunday. These days do not change. No matter whether you are at home and work, mundane lives, they don't disappear. Their values, they are engraved for eternity. They are for us all to emulate, to walk their paths, to think about. And right now, right in this very moment, right back then, I thought like I was losing myself. I thought I strayed from the beaten track, going somewhere dark, in a nook, in a cranny, where maybe the sun was not shining on this spot Maybe it was not supposed to shine there so that people never get a glimpse of the shadows, of the dark paths of these beaten ideals, of the beauty that has an undesirable shade, maybe. But there I was, in the middle of the road, lost. It was not that I feared that I would not find home. I actually craved the feeling that maybe I would just get lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere, just to have something to be bothered about, to be vexed about, to be mean about, to be angry about, just to feel yourself that you are being alive, that you are still not dead. All this time, you just needed a signal that you are alive, that this life is different, that you are different. All this time I was craving it, to be different, and of course surreptitiously hoping that this life I was living, that it was not ridiculous, that it was not in vain, that it had a meaning, a goal somewhere, for something, for someone. Even if it was just for me, I had to convince myself that this life, with all what it stands for, that it was worth living. And I needed to feel something. Even if it was the deafening melody of my heartthrobs, even if I was lost, stranded, like a crazy person in the middle of nowhere, staring at an open door where a beautiful woman disappeared, which brought me back to life, but I still did not know how to greet that, how to respond to this chance, to this opportunity. How do you respond for someone who wakes you from a slumber? Maybe with hate. Maybe you should fill with hatred because your ideal world crumbled. But yet I was still mesmerized. I was still amazed by what unrolled in front of my eyes. Right at the moment when I seemed to be lost, seemed to walk to nowhere. Maybe I thought that this was a stupid idea after all, a girl who did not recognize me, who just stared at me. But it was this beautiful smile. It was so captivating. It grabbed me. And still there, at this very moment, I could not think about anything else than these beautiful dark eyes, these full lips, these cheeks, and this voice. It was imprinted in my mind, in my brain. It was all over me. Just there. I still thought of her. It was still there. And I just wanted to see her again, just a glimpse. And then I could leave. I could leave, maybe. Hopefully I could leave. Leave back. Leave where? Because my life had changed. I knew it would be not the same again. I would not enter the home same again. This was not the same person again. I had changed. I have seen a beauty. This is what I thought. And it was mesmerizing. It was captivating. But right at that moment, like fate struck. Maybe it was out of nowhere. Maybe she knew that I was following her right at that moment. This beauty, which has conquered my mind, just appears at the door threshold, just stands there and watches me. I cannot tell you how embarrassed I was. I was shocked. I was slapped right in the moment. I saw her. I fleetingly eyed her. I did not dare to see her straight in the eyes. I feared these beautiful eyes would chide me, would deride me. And these beautiful lips, This cheek would say something mean, something awful, which would break my heart. I walked through here, walked through this road, walked all the way here. I escaped the trap, the mundane life, my pathetic, easy life. I escaped it. I fled from it. I distanced myself from the gravestone, from a home, from emptiness and void. I came here, and now I feared one gaze. I feared one moment when this beauty, when this unfathomable, beautiful creature could slap me, could devastate me with just one frown, with just one chiding gaze. All I was in her hand, in this very moment. And I feared the answer. I did not know how to respond. I hadn't responded up to that now. I didn't greet this opportunity, this beautiful creature. I did just stay there. I just stared at it like the moron I am. I stared at it speechlessly. And now I feared a response of my waiting, of my indifference, about my inactive behavior, about all I am, about my life, about the ridiculous dreams I had, about the fact that I have never grown up, stood the same all this year. I have wasted my times. A gaze that could tell me, you are too late, your life is gone already. A gaze would just devastate me. And there she was. She just stared at me indifferently. I glanced at her. More and more I became more encouraged. I glanced back, I stared at her. Just stared. In all its awkwardness, in all its uncomfortability, in all its madness, I just stared at her. I didn't know what to do. She maybe noticed it. She maybe noticed that I was lost, that I was stupid, that I did not know anything to do, that I could not even bring out words. Just stand there like an idiot, like no one, like someone who has made a great discovery, someone who doesn't even understand himself, doesn't even know what these feelings meant about, and someone who has craved in his life never before, and now he stands there in the middle of nowhere, far away from home, and he's lost, he's an idiot, and just stares stupidly, stares into the stupidity, into a beauty, doesn't find any word. Of course, mundane people would find words to describe beauty. Tell them how beautiful they are. Appreciate what has been appreciated before. Express feelings, what have been recorded and told before, what have been told over generations, and they as their inheritance. And the sweet words they had inherited from their ancestors, they would have known what to say. They studied all those love stories. They read all those great tragedies, those loves, those unaccomplished desires. They knew what to say at this very moment. Of course, they were not living stupid dreams. They were not following fairy tales. Of course, they lived on earth. Of course, they arranged their lives to what is close to them, everything that is in close proximity. They would have known in this very moment what to say to this beautiful creature. But I couldn't. I could just think about her, this beautiful hair, these beautiful eyes, these lips, it drew me closer, it captivated me. And with every part of my body, I just wanted to hold her, just for a while, Just for the moment I would know what to do with myself. Just for a moment. Maybe this all was one of these stupid illusions, one of these stupid ideas, one of those vivid imaginations I had in my youth when I imagined I was this superhero and I could do everything I want, and I so deeply and desperately believed in it that it had to be true, that I put all my strength together to one imagination, to one illusion, that I be the superhero, that I could do whatever I want, that I could even turn the earth, fly through the sky. Everything was possible if you put a lot of strength in one thought. But there I was. I did not think about anything. Maybe it was all an illusion, but from where it appeared out of nowhere, it appeared out of nothing, and it grabbed me. It was this sweet melody, this beauty interrupted my muteness, the silence of my life, the grayness, the lifelessness, the void. One sound, one beauty, and all was thrown in disarray. And the only thing I could do is stand there in the middle of nowhere, in stupidity and awe, and she stood there with me. I was not alone, and she stared at me. This beautiful creature had time to spare, just to stare at me, just to look at me. Maybe in fascination, maybe in awe, because she did not see someone like this. Maybe a fool, she did not see someone who was just captivated by beauty. Who knows what mundane people say? Who knows if all these words we say about all these love poems, all these beautiful sweet words we throw at each other, hurl through the walls and sing in melodies, singing song, who knows whether they haven't lost their meaning already, where they have lost all their taste, and they have become themselves boring, bored poetry, empty void poetry about love. And but yet, how can you change it? How can you make every word you give meaning? Yes, in the past they talked about craving, desire, talked about beautiful eyes, lips, and so. But this is now, this is in this very moment. This is me who is seeing it. This is me who is trying to express my mind, trying to understand the images in my mind, these scenes playing up in my head, the cinema which is playing the movie, and I am in reality outside of it, and I'm still trying to catch up to it. What you should do. But she comes closer to me. She came closer to me. My heart was throbbing. I felt dizziness. I felt like I stand somewhere high above, ready to be fooled. And these eyes, they would not let go of me. They have captivated me. I could not escape. How could anyone escape? She probably knew the power she had over me. She knew that I could not look away, that I was her captive. She approached me. Step by step, I saw her coming here, and she filled me. My heart was beating faster, and she came to me, stood in front of me, just stared at me. And she looked into my eyes deeply, as if she tried to see something, someone, tried to recognize maybe someone whom she thought is a known, an acquaintance, who knows. Maybe she tried to see something in me. Maybe I was her savior, like she was mine. Maybe I was someone, or maybe I was no one, and she tried to make out who I was, tried to make an understanding of these plain eyes, of these eyes who have never seen desire before. Maybe she has not seen something like me before. I did not know. But she just stared at me for moments, tried to see something in my eyes, turned them. And her eyes, it felt like her eyes were roaming through my soul, like she roamed through the supermarket, trying to find something, trying to find an illusion she could live for a moment, clothes she could wear, and imagine where she would wear them in a different time, in a different space, surrounded in a different environment. Just wear them, just for the sake of a fancy, for a moment, and for your soul relief that this world you are living is bearable at all, or that you make your life bearable, even if it is for seconds, for moments, but it is worth it. It is worth every illusion you live in it, that you make your life bearable. Every superhero scene you concoct in your brain, in your mind, it is necessary for you to move on, to live on, to give your life purpose. Even if you dream most of your life, even if you live illusions most of your lives, yet you still follow the necessity of survival, the necessity what mundane people before you imprinted all over. History books imprinted all over place have embedded in this culture just to survive. Don't look at it, don't follow it. Look away, but survive. Imagine a world where everything would be different, where everything would be good, but survive for the sake of surviving. Go on. It doesn't matter how you reach your goal. Your goal of becoming old, just old. This is all you need to do. Just become old. Succeed in just becoming old. Succeed in just surviving. No matter what you want to do it. And you will be successful. And of course, and these are those sweet moments in our lives which we are detached from reality, where we live just an illusion, where we would be even immortal, where we maybe could end it all just for seconds, even for minutes. We live in these great illusions, in these great daydreams, just to escape this brutal, mundane reality, this boredom, this a dead end which we came to understand that we cannot help us, that we cannot escape from it, that our lives follow circles like those planets around the sun. You cannot change it. This is what we became aware. This is what we understood more and more when we grew up. You cannot escape those circles. You cannot escape those walls. You cannot escape those beaten paths. You follow them, and it is easier. It is easier to survive while following those beaten tracks. It is easier. Maybe she looked at me in difference. Maybe she just tried to find in my eyes the mundane life people have been living all along, and I was different, interestingly different. She didn't know that I was living a stupid daydream. She didn't know that I had concealed myself from a boredom because of an idea, because of illusions of me becoming one day a superhero. I hoped that I could one day escape this. She didn't know that. Maybe this was what she saw in my eyes. Maybe this was what she was fascinated about. Maybe. But in her face, in this beautiful face, these beautiful lips, these beautiful cheeks, this hair was just hanging down her ears. The hair was curled around her ears. In this beautiful face, there was no chiding. There was no disdain. There was no test. There was interest. She would just look at me, roam through my soul. Maybe she saw something in me, something I have never detected in the mirror. Maybe she saw something fascinating. And then she did something remarkable. She did something unimaginable. She took my hand. She took my hand and she ushered me inside the home. She ushered me in this new place. She ushered me to a world beyond. She ushered me away from my home, from illusions of the past, from lives I thought worth pursuing, ideas I had about my life, thoughts which I thought worth pursuing, which could give my life any meaning. And she ushered me inside, in this home, in this dark space. It was new, it was thrilling. I could feel my heart beating. I feared that she would notice my discomfort, my embarrassment. I feared that she immediately would notice that I'm not the one who she probably thought who I am. She probably thought that I'm an interesting man, that I'm someone who has not lived, who is different. I wanted her to keep this thought, maintain this thought. I want to support and bolster this misconception. I didn't mind. I think for the first time in my life, I wanted to feel this perception. What other people had for me. I wanted to be this unusual person. At least this is what I thought she was thinking. I wanted to be this extraordinary human being. Just to feel something. Not to dream passively of becoming a superhero. What if I could be just this normal but extraordinary human being? What if I could just be normal but yet still different? A normal man who is extraordinary. How does this sound? Does this sound different? Her hero. Someone whom she has been waiting for. Someone whom she immediately noticed. And maybe she followed me. Maybe she was waiting for me. Maybe she thought of me. Maybe she was desperate as well, and she leads me inside. She leads me into her home, into this dark place, into the void. And I was struck by it. I was tittering. I was still. I didn't know what to say. Words was failing me. My mind was failing me. If I recall, I didn't have even one thought. I just stared at her. I just stared at her hand, holding my hand. I just stared at these beautiful eyes, hairs ruffled by the wind. I saw her shoulders, this beautiful body. I saw her holding my hand. I just stared at her holding my hand and carrying me inside, like she wanted to protect me from the world outside, like she feared for me come inside. All her gesture with every thread. I just felt a beating of my heart, a relief. I think in retrospect, I felt a relief that I don't have to go back, a relief that I maybe have a place to go somewhere, someplace. Someone. I could be someone. I could be anyone. I just followed her hand, these shoulders, and they led me into a new world. The home was new for me. It was alien, but it was in a way I did not feel alien anymore. I felt part of it. I felt that this is something new, something behind the ordinary, something probably ordinary people have never went in. Mundane people never expected about these areas of the world. This is not what the script is made of. This is not what normal people knew about mundane life. Circles have not came here so far. They have not written the script and how to behave in these situations. This is new. This is thrilling. This is beyond the ordinary. Something unexpected. Something for extraordinary people. Something you cannot make up and yet think that you have made it up, and then it is all the same. It is all these previous mundane lives, all these previous stories. This is different. It is unique. It is beyond your expectation. It is beautiful in all its in all its disarray, in all its chaos, in all its chaos, in all its ugliness. It is beautiful because you did not expect it. You did not saw it. You couldn't have fathomed it. It is beautiful because it is out of the ordinary. Because layers of boredom have not clocked it. It is beautiful. Because it is imperfect. It is unique. It is beautiful. Because you don't see or know how it began. You didn't have inherited. You haven't had inherited the notion how it might have begun, how this beauty might have started, how everything has started. It is new. It left your mind to wonder how it might have came about. It is not something people have already talked about in the past. It is something new. And it has no end inside. Nothing you could have known. Nothing you can anticipate from all those stories, from all those life circles which have been living all this time. It is beautiful because for the first time you don't ask yourself how many people went past you, how many people lived here. You don't care what these people thought about this. You don't care about other people, about other people's thoughts. It is new and it is beautiful because it is not dragged down by the weight of the history, by the past, by boredom, by all the same lives which have been living before. It is unique, and in this uniqueness it is beautiful, like a beautiful name given to a beautiful creature, and this name in combination with its beauty expresses its uniqueness. No one ever before lived like this, looked like this, had feeling like this. It is beautiful because those feelings, those ideas, they are mine. They are not someone else's thoughts. They are just genuinely mine, my belief. My heart pounds. And my heart is in her hand. My heart throbs in her hand. And she ushers me in this home. It is beautiful. Because it is mine. It is entirely mine, this moment, this feeling. This lostness, this muteness, my speechlessness, my embarrassment. It is all mine, and that's why it is beautiful.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.